We are here at Coventry Oval on the 6th of October 2018 to watch Diamond Creek versus Macleod in the B grade round 1 of the 2018-19 season. You are watching Channel 8, the local sports network, and I, Chukka Wilson, welcome you to this broadcast. Hello everyone and welcome to Coventry Oval here. It is round 1 of the new season, a very special time, the beginning of the cricket season. The football has just come to an end. The grand final of the AFL was literally 7 days ago, and we are here to watch round 1 of the B grade. We are going to be seeing the Diamond Creek Seconds playing Macleod. This is the 6th of October 2018, and so we are beginning the 2018-19 season. You are watching Channel 8, the local sports network. I am your host and lead commentator Chukka Wilson, and I am joined once again by the internationally renowned sports commentator who travels around the world giving commentary to everyone who will listen to him. It's Damien, Haydos, Hayden. Welcome, Haydos, to this broadcast.
G'day, Chukka. Look, fantastic day to be here. Not a cloud in the sky here at Diamond Creek, and where else would you rather be?
So, B grade. The first game at home for Diamond Creek. Now, they did a rather good job last season, but they were unable to do any significant damage to the competition, and so they were sort of stuck in the middle. And do you feel as though Diamond Creek are going to be looking forward to this season?
Look, I certainly think they do. Thinking back to last season, it was actually Macleod who cost Diamond Creek finals with the fact that they got a last day draw against Mernda, were able to sneak into that 4th position from Diamond Creek. Having said that, the bottom place side, Bundura, were only a game or so away from finals. It was such an even, say, 3rd to 8th bracket there, and it was only the top couple of sides who stood out significantly. So, Diamond Creek made a couple of changes to their regular side from last year, have held a lot of that experience and up-and-coming players as well. We'll go through the sides obviously very shortly. But they've held pretty consistently, as opposed to Macleod. So no doubt they're looking forward to it and looking forward to going one step further and making the top 4.
Well, last season was a very successful season for Diamond Creek. They have 7 teams, 4 of them made it into the finals, and then 2 of them were hosting a grand final. 1 of them got the premiership. And so, even though, 1 out of 7 doesn't sound very good, the fact that they got a premiership, the fact that they had 2 grand finals, and the fact they had 4 teams in the finals suggests that they have a lot of very good cricket. And yet, the 2 senior teams, the 1s and the 2s, were not amongst those competing.
It was interesting. I mean, amongst the 3 or 4 sides who didn't make finals there, most of them were roundabouts. You think about the seniors with just short there, the seconds were only a half game off at the end, and even their 7s were only about half game off as well. So a lot of it's set there in terms of those good sides and that depth. But again, they're falling short for those bigger clubs. They certainly want a bigger feature in terms of finals, especially with the higher grades there. So we'll see how they go this season there, but they'll be expecting just that little bit more. And with new coach Callum Dean, I'm sure they're going to get that.
Well, let's just talk about the coach. So, how do you feel his intervention into the team will make this a different club than what we saw last season?
Well, what they've done traditionally is they've definitely gone internally with their previous coaches there. You think about, for example, Josh Adams, who was a coach for a few years there. So they've looked internal, but they've gone external this year with Callum. One of the things that he did with his work at Mernda there, he's had to work with a much smaller group there. Mernda normally having, say, about 3 or 4 senior sides, while Diamond Creek has 7. So it's going to be a challenge for Callum and himself dealing with a larger group. Definitely needs a bit of help with looking after, say, that 5th to 7th teams there. But I think hearing the outside word's going to help a lot there. One of the advantages that Callum has is working with Mernda's ground. Pretty similar size here to Coventry Oval. So he knows how to get that fielding working there, to make sure the arms are of significant portions there to make sure they get those throws into the keeper and to the bowler's end as well. So it's going to be good for them to have an outside voice to bring in some new ideas to the club.
Alright, so let's go through the 11s. Now, we've got a very unusual situation where electronically and on paper, Macleod have only named 10 players, and so we just have to wait and see who that mysterious 11th player at the 11th hour, no pun intended, is. So let's just go through them. So the Diamond Creek team have Brown, the wicketkeeper Merritt, McCormick. Then we got the captain Elzink, then the younger Elzink, then Luff, McDonald, Wells, Watson, Bedurk, and Keenan. Now, from those Haydos, who are the most significant to take a note of?
Well, I think the big one's going to be Alex McCormick there. Broke into the senior side last year as that all-rounder. Took some 5-wicket hauls there and is also quite handy with the bat there. He'll play a big role today with that all-round role. I also think Dale Wells, he was one of the others that broke into the senior side. And you might remember his early season form last year was significant there, keeping it to say 2 or 3 runs and over at the smaller Margaret Oval, and being able to also contribute with the bat as well. So those are 2 guys to stand out. And in these one days, it's those all-rounders to definitely come to play there. The fact that you've got such few overs to work with your bowlers, you can't afford to have your frontline bowlers being expensive. But if they do, your all-rounders suddenly have to step up and play their big part. And also losing those early wickets, they also come to play there. So those are the 2 guys for me that stand out for Diamond Creek.
So let's have a look at the Macleod 10, and then we'll discuss, we'll hopefully find out who that 11th player is. So the wicketkeeper and captain, Bosso, then Turnbull, Ahmed, Rhoda, Brandt, Bottomley, Cleary, Scamozzino, Picton, and White. So you've named 3 players of note, so what do you have to say about them?
Well, look, the first one I'm going to lean into is Jamie Cleary. They're a club legend, played a lot of cricket there for their senior side there, and has come back to the second 11. Maybe not so much to wind down his career, but to play a different role there for Macleod there. So he did a fantastic job last year, was up there in their lean wickets, and also played a big part with the bat on more than one occasion, including against Diamond Creek. Kieran White shows that there's a lot of depth there at Macleod, but especially their bowling stocks, considering that he was their leading wicket taker last season with 20, and yet can't find his way into the senior side coming into round 1 there. So he'll be one to look out for Macleod. And of course the skipper Michael Bosso played a lot of cricket there and plays a significant role with his leadership and of course his wicket keeping as well there. So they're the 3 guys I think Diamond Creek do need to stop together and take the win today.
Okay, now Coventry Oval obviously has football over the winter, and you can see that all across there is a lot of yellow around the ground. Also, the mark of where the boundary line is very worn out, and generally, and also the centre region is quite worn out. There's a lot of bare dust. So obviously the wear and tear of a football season is all around Coventry Oval. Do you think that this will play a significant factor in the game?
Maybe marginally. Traditionally, we've found that, especially for the bowlers, that with the grass being quite green and the fact that not many balls go over the boundary, the ball stays in pretty good shape and so it gets a little bit more movement later on than, say, if you go to a Margaret Oval or to a Campbell Street Oval. But today you might find that it starts to wear down a little bit earlier and start playing the batsman's hand a little bit earlier as well there. So while traditionally you might think a 130, 140 score here is going to get the job done, maybe you have to crank that up a little bit to a 150, 160. So it might play a small factor, but we'll see as the afternoon goes on.
Yes, I remember filming some one-day games here last season in January, and even though obviously January is a very hot and dry month, the ground was overwhelmingly dark green, and just to get to 100 in a one-day game was a huge difficulty. Just scoring 2 runs and over on this very, very large ground with a lush infield and outfield is very hard. So the fact that it's more bare, that it's more dry, that maybe the ball will get scuffed up might mean that we have a high-scoring game on our hands. So that is our pre-game discussion. Now let's take a break and then we'll get to the rest of the pre-game show. You are watching Channel 8, the local sports network. I'm Chukka Wilson and I'm joined by Damien Haydos Hayden. You are watching Diamond Creek versus Macleod, round 1 of the B grade. It is the 6th of October 2018. This is the 2018-19 season, and we are here at the beautiful Coventry Oval in Diamond Creek. So just having a quick break now, and we'll come back for more discussion. So, let's just take a look at the weather. Now, obviously, it is early October. It is the middle of spring. So, the final month of the football season is the first month of spring, September. And now October is the second one. And October is traditionally one of the most erratic months of the year because the winter coldness is coming to an end. The spring heat is starting to really take advantage, but also this is the rainy season period for the southern hemisphere when you tend to have a huge amount of rain gushing down and raining out maybe 1 or 2 matches. So this is a very unusual month, so that means the temperatures can go all over the place. It can go from humid to dry to raining in just a short period of time. And so when we have a look at the last 7 days, we find it's very dry and it's quite modest in heat. So last Saturday was 14 degrees with 1.2 millimeters. Sunday was 16.5 with 0.2 millimeters of rain. Monday 23.3, Tuesday 25.8, Wednesday 18.1, Thursday 14.6, and Friday 21. So ranging from the mid-teens to the low 20s is quite warm for spring, and it's clear that these are quite hot periods, and it's also very dry. The last rain we had was on Sunday, and so it's been a very dry and moderately warm period. And so you'd expect that in terms of the grass on the ground, we're not going to be seeing it become green just yet, unless there's some artificial water at play later on. But in terms of the weather, it is much more hot than you would expect, so players will have to get used to getting this more heat than they have been doing this winter, and so they're just going to have to transition to the summer period of the warm spring much faster than normal. So that is the weather for this game. He's not the tallest, so
Definitely a workhorse of a bowl. Wouldn't be surprised if he actually bowls all 8 of his allotted overs in a row.
and out come the batsmen. So, what happened with the toss, Haydos?
Well, Diamond Creek won the toss earlier today and have actually elected to bowl in this instance there. Probably taking advantage of the fact that we're not too sure how the ground will play this early in the season. So they should want to have a look at what Macleod do and take advantage of that there. Backing their bowlers in to do the job, but then also having a look as well for the run chase. And It's an interesting call. I mean, when you think about the larger ground, you don't necessarily want to be caught chasing, but it's not always a bad thing.
Indeed. They're still doing warm-ups over there, and the time is 4 minutes, so they'll have to rush off very quickly. And the batsmen are walking on.
While they do that, one of the things that's changed this season there for Diamond Creek side is they're going to play all their home games here at Coventry Oval. Do you think that helps them this season?
It's hard to say because Coventry Oval and Marngrook Oval are quite similar grounds. I mean, they're both really reasonably large. They are most long on the wings, short, straight. So in that sense, you'd say there's not much difference, although obviously Coventry is a little bit larger, but I'm not sure that there would be a difference so much.
One thing that comes to mind is the similarity of your surroundings there, be it things like the dressing rooms, the ground you play on, you know how far it is approximately from the boundary, maybe not so much in metres, but in your ability to throw and how hard you have to throw to get to the keeper's end. So the similarities, I think, will play into their hands, but then again, it always helps just to change things up a little bit.
One issue which I've talked about previously might be the wind question, because Coventry Oval is quite an open ground and there's less trees immediately at the boundary, which means there's more chance of wind coming into effect. But Marngrook Oval is a very claustrophobic ground. The trees are right there, right next to the boundary, and also there is this wall that covers half the ground, and so in terms of just stopping the wind from blowing onto the ground, Marngrook is more artificial, more of a dome than Coventry.
Very well put.
So out come the Diamond Creek fielders, and who's going to walk through the gate first? That was someone.
Right you are.
So this is a 40 over game, and
well, to familiarise those who are not familiar with the rules, the maximum overs the bowler can bowl in this fixture is 8. It's pretty similar to other limited overs formats where they keep it to what 5 bowlers can bowl their full allotted overs for. So maximum of 8 overs for 5 bowlers, but of course they can always bowl less.
indeed. And has this rule change been significant in changing the style of cricket? Obviously you can't have just a superb pro bowl 20 overs at one end, take 5 for 10, and basically he alone can win the game for your team. That sort of stuff, which you see in the lower grades a lot, can't happen.
Well, exactly right there. I think it definitely suits all the grades there. When you get to a B grade level there, you're good enough to be playing B grade. What you don't want to be is that player who doesn't bowl and bats at, say, 8 or 9 there. So what you want is you want to make sure you contribute to the game there, and you're forced to select that way now with this allotted overs restrictions there. So I think it does suit them, and of course for the lower grades, like you said, it stops those gun players dominating the game so much. The batters can still do it, of course, but we've all been there, right, they're good enough to make 100, and so be it.
Okay, so we've got our first bowler just doing some warm-ups. Alright.
Looks like Hayden starting us off here from the commentary end.
Alright, let's take a break and we go to the first ball.